Okay, paper. Now, there are so many different categories into why you would want to choose certain kinds of paper. Again, this is all preference. The one thing I will say that is crucial, and I wouldn't falter on that one subject, is the weight of the paper. When I say weight, it means how thick a paper is. When you have a regular piece of printer paper, that's a 22-pound paper. A piece of cardstock is usually 90 to 100-pound paper. You want a watercolor paper that is no less than 140 pounds. And let me tell you why. Your paper, when it's super thin, it's going to tear apart. It's going to buckle when you put paint on it, meaning it's going to warp, and it is not going to hold up and look nice when you're done. And you'll probably be frustrated with the whole process as you go. So I would say like the 90-pound mixed media watercolor papers, those are probably meant for children. I'm going to be honest. You could try to use them, but I really, really think that you'll have a terrible experience. And you'll probably get more frustrated with the medium because of the paper choice if you go with a lesser grade paper. Now, the next level up is 140-pound paper, and that's what I personally use. I have tried some of the really expensive papers before, and like the 300-pound, 100% cotton, those are like the dream papers, right? They are fantastic. Arches, 300-pound, 100% cotton, cold press paper is like, that's my dream, but it's expensive. And I burn through paper so fast. So I like to use kind of a middle range, right? There's the cheap, there's the medium, and then there's like the super expensive. So I like to kind of keep it in the middle range. So we kind of talked about weight. 140-pound, no less than. That way you'll have a good strong paper. And even then, the 140-pound will still sometimes buckle because it's still not as thick. If you can spring it and it's in your budget and you don't mind, if you can start with a good paper, I would recommend it. But for what we do here and for all the lessons and all of the practices and all the things we do, I like to use a cheaper paper. So I use the Canson 140-pound cold press paper. Cold press basically means that it has a texture to it. A hot press means it's very smooth. And I've painted with a hot press before and it's fun. It's like a slick surface and it's really pretty. That's all preference, entirely up to you. I like the texture that watercolor paper can bring. And so it's entirely up to you what look you're going for. So I feel like I was kind of all over the place. Let me break this down. Weight, hot press or cold press, and quality for price. Those are the things you want to look at when you're buying a paper. No less than 140-pound. If you can spring for the 300-pound, that's great. Hot press or cold press is just a preference. It's either smooth is a hot press or cold press is a texture. And then the quality for price, just look at what you're getting and how many pages are in the pack. I think when I looked at Arches on Amazon, it was probably close to $20 for a pad of 12 sheets. And for me, I'll use that in a day. So it's just $20 a day is a little hard to spring. Whereas the Canson paper, there's 30 packs in it and I can get it for $5 at Walmart. That's what makes it a little bit more affordable for me. And I've used that paper for 3 years and I'm still happy with it. So that's what I choose to use. It's entirely up to you guys, what you guys want to use. I just think for everything that we do, a good student grade paper is great. I'm going to put some links into some different options for a medium grade. There's like Strathmore and Fabriano. There's so many different kinds of brands. I'll put some links in there. You guys can kind of shop around and look at the reviews and see what you think. But if you want my opinion, the one that I use is Canson cold press 140-pound paper. I get the 9x12 sheets and I cut them in half. So I have a 6x9 paper that I work with. And then I have 60 sheets, if you will, 6x9 that I can work with. And that's how I prefer to do it. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out to me. But that's kind of the overview on papers.